But
isn't this ironic? Because we have actually had people from local government, in fact, local government administrators come on this program to say they don't want this autonomy. They want to remain the way it is.
You are saying the governors are work because actually the governors are responsible for the election of those chairmen. And they listen to their governor. So if the man comes in here, it's not like he does not want to have an autonomy, but it's actually hearing and voicing what his boss is telling him. It's not, I mean, autonomy is good for them if they can manage it well. But if we now grant autonomy, what I would expect, because the clamor, it's very strong on the issue of allowing the states to create local governments. And that is what, while I was in the Senate, I advocated, I supported that 100%. And I'm still supporting that because at the end of the day, you cannot make a local government stagnant in terms of the growth. It keeps expanding. And you see, we have been creating states. We are not developing the grassroots the way we should. Some governors will say, okay, this is another local government headquarters. I've created a local government ABC. That means you have offices there. You have more employment there. You have all those things that you start making provisions for there.
Isn't that meant to be on paper? Because if they're creating local governments,
yes,
and the local governments don't have financial autonomy, so what's the point?
That is because they don't have the powers to create them.
So if they create them, they will get the funds to local governments?
They will be the ones looking at their wallet, looking at their allocation and saying, okay, I'm having 1,000 local governments, I can fund it. I'm having 20 local governments, I can fund it. That would be totally within the core of the government.
Many of the states don't even generate these funds. The funds comes from the center.
Exactly. The fund will now come in through the state. It will be joined to the state allocation. So the federal government will now have two tiers whereby we allocate money to the federal government and the states. Once you do that, the states will decide, within this allocation that I'm getting, I'm going to have XYZ number of local governments. I want to have 1,000. The one created under the military. They are complete. It's a sore point for everybody.
You know, if this doesn't fly, you know what I'm thinking here, if it really doesn't fly and they shoot it down, will it also affect the section? There's also a section, yes, that says, well, money, section 1625, that says local government will now receive money directly from the federation account.
Exactly. That, the moment you are allocating money from the federal government account.
Directly to the local government.
Then that means the federal government controls the number of local governments that can ever be created.
So that's the autonomy they're fighting against.
That is the... Now, if you are saying, I'm the one giving you the money, and on the other side you are saying you have created local governments, where would the money come from? So for us, the first issue that needs to be resolved is the issue of who has the authority to create local governments.
Not the financial autonomy.
No, it's not the financial autonomy. The financial autonomy, it could be said by the National Assembly that, okay, you can create your local government, but every year, within your budgeting system, there must be XYZ allocated to local government. And within that, the fiscal responsibility would actually be to the chairman of the local government, even though you have created them. And the money is coming to you through the federal government, because that is what the governors are really fighting for, is the control of that money. Even the little money that comes to the local government, those people never get to spend the money. The governors still control how they spend it. Now, if you want to take that away from them, they would continue to fight that issue.
Let's take this fight into another aspect of this review, which might be interesting. Now, an individual can contest an election without becoming a member of a political party. And if you say, we're talking about autonomy, and the individual says, well, I want to be the chairman of X local government, and he goes on to win that particular election, and the other section, section 162 is still there, he gets his money directly, that's an autonomy by itself. he becomes autonomous.
That is true. If he gets the money directly.
And he's not a member of any party.
And he's not a member of any party. Now, that means he has the opportunity of proving to the people that it can be a good system. Because if it turns out, and he's fighting more for his reputation, his name, what he wants to be remembered for, then that would be a good-spirited person. But how many of them are available? Looking at the rots going on in the society, you look at it that, okay, you want to be chairman. Even the ones we've seen in the past, immediately you become chairman of a local government, your income is better than that of a professor. In many cases, better than what a judge will make. So that is why you see the rush towards the political side. That's where the loss, is now. So for a person who I'm in support of independent candidature completely, but under the system that we still operate, it becomes very, very difficult if you don't belong to a particular party, because to build that structure from the ward level to the local government to the state, it's a big challenge. It might be possible in the local governments to succeed for now, because people will vote for who they like. If they believe a party is bringing a very unpopular candidate and somebody stands against such, the chances of winning for the popular candidate is higher, because somebody has imposed a very unpopular candidate. You can say no to that. So the opportunity for independent candidature is a welcome development. It's a very good one.
Some have said that candidacy, independent candidacy, is also going to be predicated largely, if good people will come on, upon the financial autonomy of local governments. Because which chap will come forward and when he knows that, look, if they control the funds, how am I going to function?
You see, it's just because our third arm of government is not working effectively, the judiciary. If you give money to a local government and somebody goes to court within that same local government or even outside to challenge impropriety, you will find out that the money they have, they can still use it judiciously and within legal confinement. So it's not really a major problem if we have the three arms working effectively. The state assemblies, they are totally inept because it is whatever the chief executive wants.
But we've seen some of them move against even some of their chief executives.
At what price? Is that they get removed, suspended, or something? So they become totally ineffective. It's a system that is developing and growing. People keep on challenging the system until we get it to be running the way the civilized nations are running, this democracy.
While some think that if this were to scale through that autonomy aspect of the local governments,
yes,
they advocate that it will strengthen our federalism. But others think that, well, if that scales through, the governors may think that, wait a minute, they want to whittle down our powers and then the authority and the control, how we control our structure. And so they won't let that happen.
Well, again, for what is happening currently, we should not be writing our constitution based on resolving an immediate challenge. We should project more into the future and begin to think that what is the best way to approach a situation like this. And we cannot conclude that governorship or governance will continue in this way. And so when we put a structure down, you have the courts to begin to apply the checks and balances. You see, once they do that effectively, then you will see that people will sit up. For us, there are so many situations that we've tried to correct. And now we are seeing the other side of some of these amendments. But Once it goes through, that's it. The idea of autonomy itself to resolve the current problems between the governors and the local government chairman is a fantastic amendment. But going forward, will the federal government continue to dole money to the local government? And when you now bypass the state and you are giving money to the local government, and we say we are practicing federalism, at what point? And that's the same problem we have with the issue of state police. We are looking more at those that will be totally responsible in the running of the affairs of their state. They can use their state police to start witch hunting people, but that does not make it bad.